You see, in simple terms, in law, there cannot be an award when there is no judgment. A judgment has not been entered. The verdict has not been entered. So how can people be talking about $18 million?
That's the reality. Is that your understanding from what happened?
That is the case. And now you see, there is a motion of a mistrial. And that the judge is going to give his ruling in 30 days. So the ruling can be, you see, the jury has been dismissed. So it could be that they are going to empanel a different jury altogether to look at the matter again. Or if the decision depends on the judge. So right now, there's no conclusion. The case is not concluded yet. There is no judgment. So I'm very surprised to see Anas and his group on Facebook sending unnecessary messages while the process has not concluded. So all that I will say for now is that people should just relax and let's see the outcome of the matter after its conclusion. Honorable is not worried. No, we are not worried because it's a court process. And so let the process conclude. And then when it is fully matured, and then we will all see the outcome. So I say Anas is just walking around duplicating for nothing.
We are for Ken TV. We are for Ken, we are for truth, justice for all. Ebusia midin any ekia in Triwa. Ebusia for ye na ye nim in some way koso mangane mu hase na enra ye da sorry ye na eye Anas or me ya Anas. Eye ni media team no aba be post say. Omo ne ye papa Kennedy akompre kwame Japan case no. Omo wi ni a chese ye papa $18 million. Ghana has a media station can say na obi antimi verify na omu nyina atimi fake news way etimi eto atese wo manga dem ha say afei de kukudamfo enimdifo mranimfo ababonte abechirechire mu ama sade nyema koye de nti ema Anas armeya Anas nkofo eba betro 18 million nyina no omudi nchiremu aba ebusuan yenko na yekonkoti.
You have had cause to say on social media that what we're hearing is fake. What is fake about this?
All right, good afternoon to you and your viewers. Let us understand that as of now, if you read the whole rate and of course all the entire proceedings that came out from court, you understand that what came out in respect of the $18 million is much in relation to the verdict of the jury of the court, and that does not necessarily translate into, say, the judgment of the court, properly so called. So when the news is spun around and make it appear as though the court itself has decided in their final judgment that indeed Mr. Kennedy Japan has been slapped with a fine or damages of $80 million, that cannot be sustained and that cannot be true, and it can at best be described as misinformed or fake. We must understand that at every point there is a difference between the verdict of a jury and also that of the judgment of the court. Of course, I do agree that in many instances and in many jurisdictions, the court mostly adopts the verdict of the jury as own judgment. But within this context, we must also understand that an issue of mistrial has also been raised by the lawyers of Kennedy Japan, which the court has now given 30 days to rule on that. Right. So that's also so that there is a hallowed injunction, properly so called, on even the verdict of the jury, and therefore at this point there is no judgment.
So your understanding is that the court has not given a judgment, even though the jury has arrived at this verdict, that is the $18 million charges against Kennedy Japan. And you say that until the court gives or agrees with the jury. But you admitted that in most instances, or as has been the case, we get the court adopting the verdict of the jury. How different is this?
Yes, but you see, you must understand that, you see, the jury operates based on defined instructions from the judge or the court. Within this particular context, the jury did not strictly go by the instructions of the court, because the subsequent day when the court has sat and they wanted to determine the punitive damages on the defendant, which appears to be Mr. Kennedy Japan, the jury reiterated that they've already added it to the actual and the compensatory damages. And the court was very clear that that was not the direction and instruction of the court. It was at that point that the lawyers of the Honorable Kennedy Japan also rose up to then file the mistrial, even though the court also indicated that they have to do that through a written application. the point is that that issue of mistrial has been raised. So as of now, practically and properly so-called, we can make a case that even the verdict of the jury has, been hallowedly injuncted, because as of now, we even have to make a determination on the mistrial before the court can even move ahead to consider same.
So are you saying that
the court declares that indeed there has been mistrial because the jury did not properly follow the instruction? It means that we will have to start the entire trial or proceedings once again. But of course, the other option is that the court may also even throw away the application of the lawyers of Mr. Kennedy Japan. That will only means that the jury has only arrived at a verdict, and it will now be left upon the court to now make a final determination on the verdict by adopting it as a judgment of the court.
Right. So then, where lies the fake factor here?
Come again?
I'm asking, where does the fake factor come in here?
Yes, the fake is in regards to how the story has been spent and propagated as though there has been a judgment.
Because I have heard,
makes a case that there has been a judgment.
I have heard from lawyers of ANAS.
Misinformation is fake.
Kwesi, can you hear me? I've heard from lawyers from ANAS, and they have indicated that, well, this is the case. And they have even given indication that even if the court grants that the amount be slashed, they are also going to trigger processes to ask for 5 times whatever amount is arrived at.
I don't think that is a contention. The contention here is whether or not the court had made a final judgment, and the final judgment has not been made. The verdict of the jury does not necessarily translate into a final judgment, especially when there are even contention on the verdict of the jury.
Right.
So that cannot be construed as a final judgment. As to whether or not the court will adopt same and even all the consequential litigation or issues that will come out, that is a subject for the future. But for now, there has not been any judgment properly so-called.
There's some messages on Facebook talking about an award of $18 million
Yes.
to Anas Arimiya. Is that the matter?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. You see, in simple terms, in law, there cannot be an award when there is no judgment. There is no judgment, so there cannot be an award. A judgment has not been entered. The verdict has not been entered. So how can people be talking about $18 million?
Is that your understanding, or that's the reality? Is that your understanding from what happened?
That is the case. That is the case. If there's no judgment, there cannot be an award. And now there's a motion of a mistrial, and that the judge is going to give his ruling in 30 days. So the ruling can be, you see, the jury has been dismissed. So it could be that they are going to empanel a different jury altogether to look at the matter again, or if the decision depends on the judge. So right now, there's no conclusion. The case is not concluded yet. There is no judgment. There is no judgment. And if there's no judgment, there cannot be award. So I'm very surprised, and this is very preposterous, to see Anas and his group, on Facebook, sending unnecessary messages while the process has not concluded. So all that I would say for now is that people should just relax and let's see the outcome of the matter after its conclusion. So we are not worried. Honorable is not worried. No, we are not worried because it's a court process. And so let the process conclude. And then when it is fully matured, and then we will all see the outcome. So I say, Anas is now just walking around jubilating for nothing. So people don't understand the process. The process will actually explain itself when the judgment comes out.
Charles, help me understand this. From what I have read, there was an 8-member jury who voted in a certain direction, correct?
Yep.
What exactly did the jury vote on?
You see, where did you get your source from? You have read it.
Yes, I have
read.
Where
did you get your source from? Where is the source?
I read on the internet this morning.
Very good. So therefore, you have to look for the source, where it's coming from. Is it coming from Anas or is it coming from the court? You see, when we are actually giving information out, it's very important you get the proper source. Let's try to get the court process. Let's try to get what the court actually said and everything. We can't just pick anything from the internet and base conclusions or discussions on the internet. That's why I said, let us wait. Soon and very soon, the judge will come out with his ruling, and then we will get a proper, authentic document, and then all of us will speak to it and make meaning of the words and everything, and see whether it is lawful or unlawful, and see the legal implications of the ruling. Now that there is no ruling, now there's no judgment, somebody has put his opinion on internet, and then we are wasting time to discuss someone else's opinion.
Are you in any way suggesting that this information on the internet is one that has probably been put out by the ANAS team to cause some, disaffection for the former member of parliament?
You, the truth that comes out of evil is a divine truth that nothing on this earth can say. You understand? And so let's wait for the truth. Let's wait for the actual information, and let us not discuss opinions.
You would obviously have details of all of this information with you. I mean, what we are reading is something in the region of about $18 million. I mean, that's a lot of money if your client potentially loses this case. How confident are you that you could overturn that if what we are reading is not true?
You see, my client is not worried about it because this 18 million is not the matter. The matter is a fair trial. We have to look for a fair trial. And now we have put in an motion for a mistrial. The judge is going to consider that motion. And so this hula balloon about 18 million, etc., award, punitive award, damages award, etc. I don't think it's about time that we discuss it. It is a pre-discussion, and this is premature discussion. So we are not worried. We know the truth will come out. We know Anna is going to get nothing. He's going to get nothing. And you and I know that for instance, if you get a judgment at High Court, you can always move to the next court, the Court of Appeal, or you can go to Supreme Court finally for the final decision to be pronounced. So now this is just the beginning of the battle. This is just the beginning of the battle. So we are not worried. So this jubilation is nothing for us. So let's see. I believe in the fact that I will let the court process in itself. I will let the matter go for the full trial, and let's see what the judge will come up with. And remember that the jury has been dismissed. That is what we have to look for, and then we have to ask questions. Why the dismissal of the jury? You see, we don't have to focus on the 18 million, but why was the jury dismissed? That's the issue. So that's why I said there are a lot of legal issues, misunderstanding here and there, misinterpretation here and there, and then the rush to judgment and the rush to jubilation is unnecessary. So let's wait. I just want to assure Ghanaians that they should wait, they should relax, they should not jump to conclusions until the final ruling in 30 days cometh.
Between now and that 30 days, what would you be doing?
Well, definitely I will get the full documents I have requested. It will be sent to me. Once I get it, I will digest it with other lawyers. We will look at the laws in the U.S., and then we will also look at whether or not the decision in Ghana, the court judgment in Ghana, had an impact over the case in Essex County in New Jersey.
At what point are you likely to get in touch with your client to get a lot more clarity on this? You said you're not speaking to him.
I can't tell you, but soon and very soon. As a matter of fact, we are working on this. You see, ANAS is just doing propaganda. That's all I will tell you. Honorable Ken is more relaxed. We are focused. We know what we are doing, and we have good lawyers, and they know how to try cases. We are not rushing to conclusion. We will not prejudge. All that we are saying is that let us wait and see the ruling. As soon as we get the documentation, I will call Mr. Kwachi myself, and I will come to the people and analyze for Ghanaians to know exactly what went down.
Charles, finally, I mean, this is a case in court. Why would you think someone would want to do propaganda with this?
That is what I'm saying. Propaganda. You know the people that we are dealing with, and I'm glad that you said the case is in court. So if the case is in court, let's wait for the court documentation. But let us not wait. Let us not depend our discussion on one's personal. And let's wait until we get an authentic, certified court document, so that we can do a proper and intellectual and legal discussion and discourse thereafter.
Charles, thank you for the legal education this morning.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that's Charles Amudati, who is a private legal practitioner here in Accra and spokesperson to the Honorable former Member of Parliament, Ken Japan. These are issues of the law who would let the lawyers, take it from that point, especially when there's a 30-day period between when, the final judgment is going to come. The lawyers will put in.
Anas versus Kende Japan.
Yeah.
On defamation. Sa kesi ya dini Ghana. Ama court. Ato Anas ne suit na guse asemwa kan kai no.
Yeah.
On defame no kwa.
Yeah, sure.
Ema judge no describe Anas say investigative terrorist. No ano kaye wasa defame no more.
Yeah.
Ano time asem ni record.
Say basa na sa no na ba monti.
Yes. Or they call US. Na US system no. Da ya na jury no dozen.
Yeah.
Nti omo put to 8 member.
Yeah, 8-member jury. Yeah.
Ano mo ye. Na jury bia no. Judge na okra asem no. Emma mo direction.
Okay.
Ye mamo terms of reference.
Yes.
What you should do, what you should not do. Ano omo ye ade no. Eti jury di wie ni case no. Na che omo atra omo bounce. Akwa awodu niam bia nka omo need that,
Yeah.
Number 2, Canada Japan ne evidence or the call especially the court ruling ni ade anka say omo botie no omo antie.
Oh really?
Yes. Eti omo ba be ya ade no Canada Japan lawyer raise Mistrial.
Okay.
Say niam bi ankoyi. Judge no sustaining that of the Mistrial. Number 2, obisa jury no say punitive measures near there na almost ya all the way 8 million, ya all the way 5, and ya all the way 5 into all 18 million.
Yeah.
Na judge ne say one direct almost eti waka ye na omoka say ebia ye suggest anasa afi ni e ba be hwa nka problem ni mu.
Yeah.
Eti omoka sa no say omako beyond what he directed them to do. Eti judge no dismiss jury. Now, jury decision no enye final judgment.
Okay.
Enye final judgment. Eti publication e koso ni ade nyina no eye propaganda.
I see.
Eye propaganda. Eti judge no amomo 30 days for Ken's lawyers to submit or more argument and answer opinion, whatever. Say juma no moye no Mistrial.
Okay.
Anu ama announce lawyer and so say 30 days say ono so and submit say enye Mistrial. Eti ho no mo na answer judge no betena say. Na wama ye can say final judgment
on the case, on the defamation case.
It's not in record of the court.
Okay.
Say your judgment is Kende Japan, you're finding no 18 million.
So where from the 18 million issue? $80 million.
Nipa na onu esiu ye no. O esiu defamation was or get damages of a year, can I say?
$80 million.
80 million. Na me de me kan bibia about law. I don't know. But lawyers no, when them say omo nimpa. Surgery. Or more make a decision is not a judgment. Until a judge reads a judgment and say, I've awarded you this. Now, some mistrial a year or more raising and so no. A great issue and so more. I didn't in a jury. Sa evidence we mwanche. I didn't in a manja way and in a guy. So
but this is a story I'm also seeing. Also, investigative journalist Anas Arimia Anas has secured a significant legal victory in the United States, winning an $18 million US dollars defamation lawsuit against former Ghanaian member of parliament Asin Central Kennedy Japan. The verdict was delivered by jury in Exeter County, New Jersey. The lawsuit filed on May 17, 2022. The County Superior Court accused Kennedy Japan and media personality Frederick Samoa of making defamatory statements against Anas Arimia Anas during an episode of the Daddy Fred Show, an online program popular among Ghanaian audience in the United States. During the program, Kennedy Japan allegedly made a series of damaging and false claims, including accusing Anas of being criminal, a thief, responsible for murder of investigative journalist Ahmed Swale. So, fast forward, the court document highlighted several significant allegations made by Kennedy Japan, including false claiming that Anas has been convicted of crime in Ghana. That is crimes in Ghana. Accusing Anas of orchestrating Ahmed Swale's murder. Asserting that Anas was responsible for the death of multiple Chinese nationals in Ghana. Labeling Anas as a thief. This U.S. legal triumph came after a setback of Anas in Ghana, where he had an earlier pursued a defamation case against Kennedy Japan in 2018. Anas had sought a 25 million Ghana cedis in damage, citing defamatory material published by Kennedy Japan. However, Accra High Court ruled against Anas on March 15, 2023, citing that the investigative method reassembled investigative terrorism rather than legitimate journalism. It's said in our work, but the award $80 million anytime I read it, that's very particular.
And I'm saying, sad piece way a propaganda.
I see.
The actual judgment in a bar. That's a judge, you know, a sustain. He say, yes, Kokutia. Nothing who say judgment aba. What you say?
Okay.
It's a jury and make a decision. Or no doesn't mean say it's a final judgment.
So Oko on your online. I don't know, but I think, sir, I need a proper interpretation of this very particular story. Sir, investigative journalist Anas Arimia Anas has won an $80 million US dollars defamation lawsuit against former Kennedy Japan. What does it mean?
From court to now, Anas Bijina Hona, you say, I do what you boom.
Okay.
I do be a day, a publishing. What do you say, Ghana? So, dear, as I'm not to a month for any can say proper checks.
Yeah, sure.
Any other.
Sure.
No ubia efa, no bia efa, any near Kaiga. So, but
I understand to send your work. I say the last part of the story. I say meanwhile, the jury's ruling is yet to be approved, otherwise by the presiding judge.
So, what is the meaning of winning 80 million, winning 80 million? So,
yes,
it is a final. Can say final a judgment, you know. That's a judge in it, and I say, no, Cass, as a mujina, a year, Rudu, Wabogua, Avena, Ujinabia. So, let us see it is for now a propaganda piece.
Sure.
And a namu. Judgment, you know, MIA. The same case, same words that I was you should know. Our superior courts here say, wato atwede enkahu because based on the fact na defendant no present here any ade no asema worker no it's not far from you can say right eti no wato atwene 2 months later no was sorry say o dey akọ US abrochire obunkonkodi eho no ma asemo ma say abrochire for there omo hwe crib omo no omo nim the way a niam esiko
omo ntitwi
eje twi no pese bra what we say echire na no ayi Kennedy chire mu abi ehu say the juma no ye entrapment what you say
sure
because me ba kojo ho na se kojo mama bribe a see edi ngomo
yeah sure
eti ne maka ne kojo aka esa obodi nyina de eti that dey enti na se me ka ba ko oh me hia $10,000 na me de no abo de kojo kan de wo mo na fe wu na wo ma commentary on it what kind of business no eti comment na wo ma no ene na manfo tie na hopsi kokwaje bribe and wo ye say but nkomodu mu ni na bibia di ho akojo kan ya eye den e ba abonti eti I don't know ye de kwanfa eti amanfo enka omakuma ento omuyem te say 30 days no beso na judge na tenase na tell say wama the final verdict on this eti for now no 3 days as a propaganda piece
in some way enemy for e de babe to abonti me did say when you munti ase nyina ye wo adwinche bia fama ye comment section ho no like na share na for friends and so intimi enkebi makra